Hi everyone, this is Khurshed, fondly called Bawa, from BND TV, and today is World Book Day, and I'm gonna talk about my favorite authors and some of my favorite books. Are you ready? Let's start. My first super favorite author. I think he is the best author ever, really. P.G. Wodehouse. His language is absolutely fabulous. The books are laugh out loud funny. Laugh out loud. I have often been reading a P.G. Wodehouse while I'm flying, and I will just laugh like that, and the aerostess and people around will say, "What happened?" And then I will just show them the book, and if they know about P.G. Wodehouse, they will just nod intelligently. My most favorite of all the stories that P.G. Wodehouse has written is the Blandings series. Lord Emsworth, his pig, the Empress of Blandings, and all the crazy madness that goes around in Blandings Castle. Oh my God. There are people who do love triangles. P.G. Wodehouse, he does love octagons or nonagons. There are so many people falling in love with each other always the wrong way, and then somehow by the end of the story, in a most hilarious way, everything becomes all right. His English, the way he uses words is just outstanding, spectacular. If you have not read P.G. Wodehouse, grab yourself a book and start reading. You need to like the English language, and you have to love romantic comedy, and you will just absolutely adore P.G. Wodehouse. This is a series of books that I have read again and again and again and again and again and again, and I will continue reading them again and again and again. Cannot speak more highly of this author. I'm going to open a page at random, and actually I won't. I wanted to read something out, but I won't. I don't want to spoil this for you. Just get a book by P.G. Wodehouse, read it, and you'll be hooked for life. My next favorite author, Terry Pratchett. This guy is to science fiction what P.G. Wodehouse is to romantic comedy. His language is fantastic. His descriptions of things are brilliant. Okay, and he writes about very contemporary issues in this fictitious science fiction world, which is flat, and it's called Discworld, and it goes through the universe on the backs of 4 elephants who are standing on a turtle, on a tortoise, believe it or not. In fact, in one of his books, he says, please watch carefully, please read carefully, the special effects are very expensive, as he describes this scene. He's written some amazing stuff, and Discworld is full of magic and witches and goblins and sorcerers and wizards, but not in the way you know them. So get Terry Pratchett. This one is the first book that he wrote. It's called The Color of Magic. And there is something else there is another book called The Light Fantastic, and there are so many more books. And explore Terry Pratchett. You will love this series. You need to like science fiction, and you need to like wacky comedy, and you need a little bit of interest in current affairs to really appreciate what Terry Pratchett does. On number 3 are the Anne books. The Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery, yes, I somehow maybe cannot pronounce this name too well. I hope I got it right. Louisa May Montgomery. The Anne books are full of charm. This is charm personified. How can someone write such a charming, absolutely beautiful, innocent series of books? It is really beyond me. So the Anne books, it starts with Anne Green Gables and goes on with Anne of Avonlea and Anne of the Island, and there are so many of them. All of them are brilliant. All of them are worth a read. The Anne books. And then we have William Richmal Crompton. Oh my God. This is a kid from, you cannot say hell because he's just so innocent and so full of fun and mischief. But the crazy, naughty things that this boy does throughout the huge series of books that Richmal Crompton has written, again, laugh out loud funny. They're supposed to be children's books, but hey, any adult who is young at heart will love these books. William series by Richmal Crompton. Peter Mayle was a accidental discovery for me. I was in France and I really like French stuff. You know, I like their culture, I like the language, I love the people, I like the country. And I was just wondering whether there could be anybody who was as much into France as I was, and a Google search revealed Peter Mayle. He's an English guy who crossed the channel and went to Provence in France. And A Year in Provence is the first book he wrote. It was an experiment. He decided to just quit everything and go for a year. What a book it is! It has even been made into a movie, and it's a fantastic movie. It's a lovely book, and there is a whole series of books that I discovered later that Peter Mayle has written about an Englishman in France. Check them out, they are brilliant. Douglas Adams, another crazy science fiction writer. He has written a series of books called The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It started off as a trilogy in 4 parts and then it became 5 parts. They are brilliant. It starts with, in the beginning, the universe was created. This was widely regarded as a very bad move. It's absolutely brilliant, really funny. His take on science fiction is just amazing. You can think of all the more serious science fiction that exist, and put them in a blender and spice them up with a lot of humor, and you've got Douglas Adams. This book, Last Chance to See, is a fantastic book written by Douglas Adams on the environment and how important it is that we conserve it. It's a beautifully written book, lots of humor and lots of startling facts, alarming facts, and a wake-up call for us to conserve this amazing, beautiful planet that we are all privileged to live on. Yesterday was World Earth Day, so I thought instead of showing The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, let's bother about Earth. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, brilliant book, series of books, and Last Chance to See, also a lovely book to read. Science fiction, well, look no further than Isaac Asimov. This guy has written some 400, 500 books. I think he used to write a book every 2 months or something like that. He's written on everything from the Bible to the English language to amazing science fiction to murder mysteries. You name it. He's written on almost any genre that you can care to name. His Foundation series is my most favorite of the science fiction books. Of course, there is Dune series by Frank Herbert. That's also brilliant. But somehow Isaac Asimov, his Robot series, his Foundation series, these are just like absolutely top-notch books. Give them a try. You will really love the way he has talked about something called psychohistory, and it is kind of a reflection of what big data is today. Many years ago, almost 50 years ago, he's written these books, and it somehow kind of feels as if he had had some lens into the future. Yeah. James Herriot, my favorite wet. He has written books of about animals, about the adventures of a veterinary doctor in the moorlands of the UK. And Dinesh and I had been on our last trip to the UK. We had been to the moorlands, and it's so beautifully, vividly described in these books, full of humor, full of charm. And if you're an animal lover, you can't miss this series. James Herriot, the Adventures of a Vet in the Moorlands of the UK. Brilliant series of books. Let's get to some of my favorite books now. These are all my favorite authors. Let's talk about some of my favorite books. Mitch Albom, The 5 People You Meet in Heaven. Super book. He had also written one more called Tuesdays with Morrie. Also a brilliant book. Very thought-provoking, little bit tear-jerking as well. And you will feel like a different human being when you finish reading these books. They are superbly written. Especially this one, I absolutely loved it. 5 People You Meet in Heaven, and the other one, Tuesdays with Morrie. If you have not read these 2 books, please grab them and read them. Fantastic author, superb books. Kenneth Williams, The Wind in the Willows. Lovely movie, but even better book. Read it. It's just brilliant. Lord of the Rings, J.R.R. Tolkien. As you can see the condition of this book, you will appreciate how many times it has been read. It is one of my most favorite books. One of the first books I picked up, one of the first big fat books that I picked up when I was studying in IIT, and my entire summer projects and everything went for a toss as I plowed through this book. If you start it, you cannot put it down. It is just absolutely brilliant. And the book is so much more than the movies. The movies are fantastic, but the book oozes charm, oozes innocence, and is just so vivid and outstanding in its scope of story. How one little unknown hobbit saved the world. Yeah, when you read this book, you will realize that an insignificant person can really make a huge difference when they make great choices and have fantastic friends. Yeah, Lord of the Rings, absolutely brilliant read. Please read it. David Eddings and this book, Althalus, the redemption of Althalus. A very charming book. Don't get scared by the size. Once you start reading it, you will keep reading it. It's so charming, so much fun. It is set in a magical fantasy land and has all the trappings of any good fantasy book. Even the other books by David Eddings are absolutely brilliant, but this is my absolute top favorite. Read this, you will love it. Carl Sagan, he has written a lot of books on science, and I think this is the only book that he wrote which was fiction. He has combined science and fiction so beautifully in this book. It is amazing to read. Contact, by the way, is a brilliant movie as well, starring Jodie Foster, if I'm not mistaken. If you've not seen the movie Contact, please see it. It is amazing in the way it weaves in mysticism and spirituality with hardcore science. Really, truly worth a read. And definitely watch the movie. Here is a book and a movie that compete with each other in which one would be better. Yeah, really. Brilliant movie, brilliant book, and I can't decide which one is better, the movie or the book. Richard Bach. Illusions, The Adventures of a Reluctant Messiah. What a lovely, beautifully written book. I guess this is the book I must have bought the maximum number of times. I have given this book to as many people I can think of as birthday gifts. Uh, Really, it is such a fantastic book. And this was a book that I read before I was in Art of Living. And it somehow portended what a guru is, what a messiah is. And the story of Donald Shimoga and the author Richard Bach, uh, I can't even decide whether it's a true story or whether it is fiction, but it is such a fantastic, fantastic book. Richard Bach's other books, One and The Bridge to Infinity, are also brilliant, but Illusions is an absolute must-read book. Highly, 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 highly recommended. If you like dogs, Jacqueline Susan, Every Night Josephine. What a book it is. It is so funny, so warm, so much love. It's a priceless book to read. By the way, if you don't like dogs, warning. Read this and you will want a dog in your life. Okay? Every Night Josephine. Brilliant, brilliant, beautiful book by Jacqueline Susan. Read it. It's really short. You could even read it on one long flight, and then you will want to read it again and again and again and again and again. Every Night Josephine. Then, of course, my most favorite author of all time after P.G. Wodehouse. Well, you cannot really say after P.G. Wodehouse. Shri Ravishankar. Anything that he writes has the ability to transform your life. A few words, a few sentences can take your life in wonderful, enchanted directions. P.G. Wodehouse entertains. Shri Ravishankar ji, he inspires. And he inspires and brings out the best within all of us. This particular book, which is, according to me, really badly named, An Intimate Note to the Sincere Seeker, I guarantee you, you don't need to be sincere at all, or even a seeker, to benefit from the nuggets and pearls of wisdom about life that is contained in this book. Dinesh and I have actually made an entire web series, which is there on our YouTube channel, where we read each of these knowledge sheets, as they are called, and do a little commentary on them. It's there on our YouTube channel. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Read the book, watch those videos. They have the potential of completely making you into the best version of yourself. Okay? Shri Ravishankar ji and his amazing, amazing book, An Intimate Note to the Sincere Seeker. I have to admit that I am my own favorite author. We have written 2 books so far, Dinesh and I, Ready, Study, Go, Smart Ways to Learn. It's a book for anyone who wants to learn anything, who is curious, who wants to embark on a learning adventure, who is scared of maybe making a fool of themselves, who is scared that, oh my God, I'm too old, who is scared that they might fail. Anything that remotely is stopping you from learning new things. This book will blast those obstacles out and make learning fun, enjoyable, and possibly even entertaining. It's full of lots of stories from our own personal lives about how we failed, how I failed, Dinesh didn't, how I failed, and how I learned from my failure, and how I finally cracked the code of how to study, how to learn. People all over the world have read this book, and we've had some amazing reviews. I think I'll tell you two of them. There was this guy who wrote to me and said, I read Ready Study Go and I cleared 5 backlogs in one semester. I said, wow, that's fantastic. And he says, no, that's not all. He said, I have been trying to get to pass those subjects for the last 3 years and I kept failing. And just after reading your book and implementing the techniques in that book, in Ready Study Go, he cleared all his backlogs in just one semester. It's not only for people who fail. There is one girl who is a topper, and she said that when she applied the techniques that are contained in Ready Study Go, she had the time to do the other things in life. She loves dancing and she loves music, and she never had the time to do that because, being a topper is quite a lot of pressure. She said, using the techniques that are there in this book, she finally could, do all the things that she wanted to do along with her studies. And there was this one old guy, almost 60 years old, maybe a little older, 65, 70. And he read the book. It was bought for his grandson and it was lying around, and he read the book. And he had not completed his lawyer's exams, his bar exams. And he just decided, I want to do it. And he used the techniques in this book and actually cleared his exams, finally graduating at the age of 65 or 70. It's a book for all ages and universal in its appeal for anyone who wants to go on that adventure called learning. Ready, Study, Go. Happiness Express is about smart ways to live. Ready, Study, Go is smart ways to learn. Happiness Express is smart ways to live. We go over our secrets of our smiles. The right type of food, enough sleep, exercise, meditation, and a continuous innate curiosity for knowing more and more. This is what makes you happy. This is what keeps you young. Happiness Express. Absolutely must read. And, there are a lot of very cool cartoons and illustrations in it as well, like this, which my dear friend Ravishankar created especially for this book. By the way, the cover also was created by Gauri, and he did it in record time. And when I had absolutely no one to turn to, he really stepped in and helped, and brought this book to the vision that I had for it. So Happiness Express. Board the Happiness Express. Life can become an expression of happiness. That's why we called it Happiness Express. I too still come back and read this book over and over again, and many times I wonder how I managed to write so well. Then I know that it just came, and I am privileged that it chose me to express itself in this lovely book, Happiness Express. Finally, I have to say that Dinesh and I are now working on our third book, and it's called Sleep Your Way to Success. In Happiness Express, we have a fairly long chapter. The second chapter, it's on sleep. It's called Sleep. And whenever we did any talks or whenever we did any kind of interactions about Happiness Express, we got the maximum number of questions on sleep. So we are working on our third book, which should be released, fingers crossed, in September or October of this year. So look out for it. I'm going to be making a lot more videos on our book, which is called Sleep Your Way to Success. Sleep your way to success. It's actually true. You know, you can indeed sleep your way to success. It's about sleep, all about having better sleep, you know, optimizing your sleep, as well as it has a few essays on success, on what could be the obstacles to your success and how you could minimize or eliminate them. Sleep Your Way to Success also has 4 stories as of now. There could be a 5th, which are my first attempt at fiction. I thought I kind of envisaged Sleep Your Way to Success as a bedtime book, and a bedtime book should have a few bedtime stories, right? So I have written, and it's my first time of trying out fiction. So Sleep Your Way to Success is about sleep, about success, and about a few stories. Yes, of course it is peppered with our own stories as usual, but I did write 4 stories. I've got one more in my head. Let's see if it makes it to the book, which are kind of fiction. Some of them really happened. I'm not going to tell you which ones. You need to figure that out. So watch out for our book, and watch out for all the nuggets of knowledge, information about sleep and success that are going to be coming your way on all our social media channels. Definitely on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. It was brilliant being with all of you and talking about something that I so adore, books. They are a gateway into another world. When this world becomes too much to handle, or when you just want a bit of entertainment, a book can be that gateway into someone else's imagination. I'm glad you could join me on this surprise, almost live video. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and hit that bell button so that you get a notification right away when I make a surprise video, when Dinesh or I make a surprise video like this, and you don't miss out on anything. Good night. Jai Gurudev. Happy World Book Day.